All right, I'm back. Had some technical difficulties, but I am back in the saddle. Now, what I was trying to tell everyone is that Houston Tipping, this is the guy you see in the thumbnail, he was killed in a training exercise that was so called deemed an accident. Now, Houston Tipping was investigating a gang rape by four other police officers, in which he was killed during a quote unquote training exercise. Now, the lawyer Bradley Gage, he claimed that one of the four officers who allegedly participated in the gang rape was present when Tipping was killed. Now, the victim claimed that she was raped by four different people, all LAPD officers. She knew the names of some of those officers because they were in uniform and they had their name tags on. This was the lawyer Bradley Gage said. Now, that name of those officers who with the name tag seemed to correlate with one of the other officers that was at the bicycle training. Now, in June, speaking at a police commission meeting, LAPD Chief Michael Moore claimed Tipping had not suffered any laceration to the head and stood by the department's story that his death had came about as an accident. Per the LAPD, while Tipping was giving a demonstration that involved grappling from a high height with another officer, both fell to the ground, resulting in a catastrophic injury to Tipping's spinal cord. The other officer did not die. That's what the LAPD put out. A county medical examiner also ruled that Tipping's death was an accident, noting that suspicious injuries revealed in the autopsy were sustained during attempts to save his life. But Tipping's family believes that he was targeted for taking the incident report of a 2021 sexual assault committed by colleagues, including one officer who was allegedly involved in the exercise leading to his death. Yeah, I find that very strange. I find that very strange. At the press conference, Gage shared that Tipping was not only looking for another job prior to his death, but also investigating an incident involving at least four other officers who committed an act of sexual assault in the LA area. In 2021, four police officers were involved in the sexual assault of a woman in the LA area. A report was taken by Officer Tipping, and he seen that report. And the female victim claimed that she was raped by four different people, all LAPD officers. Although medical reports indicated Tipping was possibly dropped on his head, department officials claimed that he was not beaten or hit on the head during the training incident. Michael Moore said Officer Tipping did not sustain any laceration to the head and he was not struck or beaten during the training session. He did grapple with another officer and both fell to the ground. Gage disputed the claims in July and showed reporters MRI scans that Tipping had staples in his head due to the injuries he sustained leading up to his death. He also referred to lacerations from a nurse and a paramedic that said that Tipping had suffered spinal cord injuries, a collapsed lung, broken ribs, and liver damage consistent with being fatally beaten. Yeah, they beat his ass. So we got the LAPD police chief lying, and then we got the medical examiner lying on the affidavit also. So clearly there's a cover up going on here. You got a cover up going on here. And I don't want nobody telling me that police don't perform misconduct and that we got to back the blue. Well, apparently they leave their own black and blue when the whistle's being blown on them. They leave their own black and blue. And they killed this man. So you mean to tell me one of the guys who was a possible suspect in a sexual assault of a 13-year-old just happened to be in that same training exercise with Houston Tipping that led to his death. Crazy, 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 crazy. They beat this man ass. Then when they beat the man, they beat this man to death, and they got nerve to be at the man's funeral carrying his casket. This shit crazy. Like other incidents where officers have been accused of killing someone, the department conveniently claims no video footage of the incident is available despite trainings often being recorded. So let me get this straight. They beat this man ass to the point where they got this man draped in the casket and they put this man in the casket with an American flag draped over him, and they put him in the back of a Cadillac. But they ain't got no video of this training that went down. Now, normally they do record these trainings. So, and the reason why they record these trainings so that way the trainers that look at these recordings, they can actually provide a breakdown of what went right, what went wrong, um, techniques that you can employ, all that stuff. That's why they record the trainings. But in this particular case, the trainings didn't get recorded. Yeah, we know why trainings didn't get recorded because they were looking to beat this man ass, and they beat this man to death. The updates in Tipling's case are related to damages claim made against the LAPD by Shirley Huffman, Tipping's mother. Gage first filed the claim in June, alleging that Tipping died after being repeatedly hit in the head, causing bleeding and multiple fatal neck fractures. During the press conference, Gage noted that newly found evidence pointed to the possibility that Tipping may have been killed because of his investigation into the sexual assault came during a time of whistleblowing and reports about alleged shadow gangs within the LAPD Sheriff's Department. Shadow gangs refer to groups within local law enforcement that cover up officers' crimes. According to ABC News, during the time Gage and LAPD officials were disputing the circumstances that led to Tipping's death, LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva, former chief of staff, publicly admitted that he once belonged to the alleged Grim Reaper deputy gang within the county sheriff's department. Grim Reaper deputy gang? What does that sound like? Oh yeah, that sounds like the group that goes out and cleans shit up. Hey, we got this dirty cop over here. We need you to go clean that up. And that's when the Grim Reaper goes in and handles business. According to the LA Times, the LAPD has a history of failing to discipline officers for sex crimes, in addition to concealing these crimes from the public. If Gage's allegations can be connected to this history, Tipping's death may open an even bigger investigation of how law enforcement officials not only abuse their power, but commit heinous crimes that get swept under the rug. Not only that, you have a situation to where you have the police unions that will assist these cops in covering up these crimes. Yeah, because they're not the police unions, they're just as bad as these corrupt police officers out here. So we cannot leave that out either. They do a review before they investigate. These police unions do a review before they investigate. So that gives them an opportunity to quote unquote get their story straight. And the police unions, they're the main detractors when it comes to anything involving police reform. They're the main detractors when it comes to any punishment with these police officers. So if you wonder why things don't get done as far as like police reform and ending qualified immunity and police officers being held to account for their crimes and all that, it's because they have the police unions in their back pocket. And I talked about this on a multitude of occasions on this YouTube channel, to where we have police unions get in the way of anything reform wise. And for all intents and purposes, like Professor Black Truth always says, when you fail to hold people into account for their actions, you only embolden them. You only embolden these people when the system in place fails to hold these guys to account for the shit that they do. So this is where we at. We all know that the LAPD is one of the most, if not the most corrupt police officers, police departments in the country. Chicago is another one, and obviously New York is another one. Now, got some more stories to this, right? In August 2020, the LA County Board of Supervisors paid a $5.5 million settlement to a young woman who said the LA County Sheriff's Department had raped her in 2017 when she was 15. The detective in question had faced two prior allegations of sexual misconduct that included committing a lewd act with a child and unlawful sexual intercourse. The LA Times recently reported on the LAPD's history of systematically declining to discipline officers for sex crimes and then concealing these crimes from the public. Acts of sexual and domestic violence perpetuated by officers are uncommon, despite how protecting victims is frequently inappropriately cited as a reason police need more funding. Just last month, the Tampa Bay Times reported that a new Ritchie police officer faced no charges for sexually assaulting a teen in this custody back in July. And it wasn't until early this year that Congress finally passed a law to close the loophole that had for years allowed officers to sexually assault people in their custody with impunity by simply claiming encounters were consensual. If this case is true, Gage's allegations about Tipping's death and the alleged gang assault that Tipping may have been investigating are part of a chilling pattern of law enforcement officers abusing their powers not only to commit sex crimes, but cover them up and shield each other for accountability. Because, hey, look, one thing police officers cannot have is other police officers snitching on them. Oh no, that is a cardinal sin. What's up, Unique Don? Salute to you. We can't have that. We can't have other police officers snitching. And this is what they do. They kill with impunity. They get rid of each other, right? Just let the rats chew each other up. It's disgusting. But hey, when you have police officers committing these crimes, when you got police unions assisting the police officers and covering it up, and then you have the politicians who failed to come up with any kind of reforms that will address the systematic issues that goes on with these police departments. And this is why you have the situation you have now. But hey, when black folks talk about how these police officers are corrupt, oh, we got to back the badge, and you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and don't do the crime, you won't do the time. But no, when they fearless leader commits all these crimes and he gets his butt in the crack, then all of a sudden now, oh well, the police have a propensity to lie, and you can't always trust what the police officers say. So now we don't gotta trust. We can't trust what the police officers say because Donald Trump and people within this inner circle got their butt in the crack. Get the fuck out of here. That's all I got to say about that. So all you guys that was running your mouth talking about back the blue and back the badge, how you explain this? They killed one of their own because he was getting too close. So that's what we do now. We find out who the whistleblowers now. We deleting them. Yeah, because snitches get stitches and they end up in ditches. Right? That's their code of conduct, right? So no, I don't want to hear nothing but these cops or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that's running around here perpetuating that bullshit, you get the fuck out of here. Now, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. I apologize for the technical difficulties early in the stream. This your man. Scream at me. Oh!